Firecracker's good, right? Even though it's not high on my radar.
On January 2nd, 2014, adequate notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been furnished by inclusion thereof in the annual schedule of meetings for 2014, which has been posted on the bulletin board of Borough Hall, filed with Borough Clerk, faxed to the Our Town, record the community news in the county's newspapers, and distributed all persons who have requesting copies of same pursuant to said act. In case of emergency or a fire alarm, you must evacuate the building by using any of the exit doors in the room. They're immediately to my right, and the double doors at the rear of the room. Occupants must exit the building by using the staircase and not the elevator. This meeting is being recorded by both video and audio and may be rebroadcast.
Can everyone please rise for the invocation?
Thank you, Mayor. Reading from the prophet Micah, chapter 6, verses 6, 7, 8. With what shall I come before the Lord and bow down before the exalted God? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, with 10,000 rivers of oil? Shall I offer my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? No. He has showed you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Father, as we come into this place tonight, Lord, this council chamber for the civic affairs of our community, Lord, I just thank you for every worker in this community right now, but we recognize your presence, Lord, for though these are civil matters, you are so interested in every aspect of human life, God, that your presence is here, and we welcome you tonight. Lord, I pray your peace that continues to exist in this community. I pray wisdom upon these council members. Lord, I pray protection upon all first responders in this community and our entire nation. Lord, we just thank you for your presence here tonight, oh God, and your blessing in our hearts and our homes and our lives. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Everyone please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Mayor Padavano.
Here.
Council members. Lindenau.
Here.
Borough.
Here.
Eisenberg.
Here.
Messer.
Here.
Sabray.
Here.
Ballerini.
Here.
Borough Attorney Ronald Dario.
Here.
Borough Clerk Jean Pellegro is here. Borough Administrator Roberta Stern.
Here.
Okay, there are, before we get to the work session items, we have later on the agenda tonight is listed appointments. And the first set of appointments are for 2 police officers. And I would ask, unless there's an objection, that we move that to the beginning of the agenda tonight and address those appointments right now, unless anybody has an objection to do that.
No objection.
Then I will entertain a motion at this time to appoint Christopher Nichols and Sean Patton as probationary police officers of the Borough of Maywood effective July 1, 2014 at the salary stipulated in the appointments.
I will move the appointments. Second. Roll call.
Lindenau.
Yes.
Maroney.
Yes.
Eisenberg.
Yes.
Messer.
Yes.
Sabray.
Yes.
Ballerini.
Yes.
Okay. At this time, before I call up the 2 probationary officers to be sworn in, I just want to say a brief word about this moment. This is a very important moment in our borough when we appoint police officers. They do an incredible job for us, and often we don't even think about it. It's sad that sometimes we only think about it when we're in a dire situation, and they're here for us. Sometimes you think about it when you get a speeding ticket, I guess, too, but that doesn't often happen to the people who live in town. Maywood is very, very fortunate, very blessed for the police officers and the leadership in the police department that we have in this town. I'm sure you're all aware, a few months ago, we had a very significant incident that occurred which started out as a domestic violence matter and took its way over to Pleasant Avenue. And the perpetrator was subdued by one of our newer officers without the use of lethal force and was done in a commendable manner, protecting the citizens and quite frankly, even protecting the offender himself, the perpetrator himself. And we also had other incidents recently where our officers were involved. Officer Cook was involved in tracking down quite frankly, murder suspect, which led into a multi-town chase and resolved itself, I guess, in Whitehall, I think, or up to 08. And we've had multitude of incidents in town where our police department has really performed in an outstanding manner. And a lot of times, people of this town don't hear about those things, and that's a tribute to the police department for keeping a handle on some of the bad things that sometimes, unfortunately, occur in this area and in the town. But they do, in my opinion, and I think the opinion of every member of this council, just an absolutely outstanding service for this town, and we appreciate that. And I want the police department to know that, and I want Christopher and Sean to, and I'm sure they're very well aware of the fantastic department that they are joining tonight. So I congratulate both of them, and I thank our police department for all of their work that they do. So at this time, I'd like to call Christopher to administer the oath with the chief, and I will ask the police commissioner liaison to come on down and assist us with that.
I, Christopher Nichols,
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
and
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
and
to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and I will faithfully, impartially,
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office
of police officer of the Borough of Maywood.
police officer of the Borough of Maywood.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You have a badge to present tonight?
Thank you.
Yes. Next, administer the oath to Sean.
Sean's brother Chris has been asked to mention the oath. Bring up the whole family. Yeah, everybody get really welcome. Come on up.
bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and in this state,
in the United States and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties of the office of
police officer of the Borough of Maywood.
police officer of the Borough of Maywood. Come on, brother.
That's okay. That's a guy's story. But that's true. All right, you gotta move in closer, gentlemen.
One more item on the police department. It was Officer Aronson who dealt with that non-lethal issue. He is also certified in bear repelling or repellents or keeping them out of the business of the people. And I'm proud to say that since he has become a police officer in this town, we have not had one bear incident or sighting. Congratulations and thank you very much. That was great work. Great work.
You never know.
What's further in the next town?
Paramus has had them since he's been here. I did not tell them that.
They know.
They know.
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you again, and congratulations to our new officer. All right. So we can get back to the agenda. Any work session items that anybody wants to add, or anything on or off the agenda? We can move on to proclamations. There are none tonight. And at this time, we will open the meeting to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to speak? Anybody? Okay. Closing the meeting. Public. Move on. We have no pending ordinances. We do have minutes for consideration and approval. The minutes of the May 13, 2014 work session and closed session, and minutes of the May 27, 2014 council meeting and closed session. Does anybody care to wish to adopt those minutes?
I will move for approval. Second.
Roll call.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Barone?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Febray?
Yes.
Ballerini?
I'm going to abstain from the 13, Gene, and I'll vote yes on this myself.
Okay, we have a presentation of bills and claims. Question public comments. Any public comment on bills? Okay. A motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Barone?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Febray?
Yes.
Ballerini?
Yes.
Borough Clerk, correspondence and report of the
I do not have a report this evening.
Okay. Borough Administrator.
I have no report, Mr. Mayor.
On a roll.
I'll mess this up. Borough Attorney?
I have no report. Hey! All right, Councilman Lizardo.
I have a small report.
Okay.
Thank you. Just a quick report, DPW has been about town, keeping the fields going. We have the firecracker tournament going on, they got the fields a little prepped, put up some fencing, did a little work behind Maywood Avenue School to get those fields playable. From what I understand, it's going well, kids are having a good time. They're also getting the town ready for the 4th of July fireworks, constant prep going on for that. And once 4th of July passes, they expect to get back on their normal routine. They have some tree work they need to get done, but right now we're working on getting past the 4th of July parade and fireworks on the 2nd. That's all I have to report.
Mr. Moroni.
Just a couple of reminders, Mr. Mayor. There is a tire recycling happening at Bergen Community College August 16th, so get those tires on the curb. And there will be a town-wide shred event happening July 12th.
Councilman Eisner.
Thank you. Last Friday, the building inspector went to court with the owner of 52 East Hunter, and I am happy to report that after over 10 years, the house is cleaned up. I saw photographs. Everything is neatly organized, where it was a mess prior, repeated hearings through several building inspectors. The owner is really paying fine, and everything seems to be resolved there. The 3 houses going up next to the church, there's apparently a high voltage line that runs along a clear piece of property line. And if the high voltage line comes down, if the pole snaps, the houses have to be a certain distance so that they're not hit by the high voltage line. And so the building inspector is working with Public Service Electric and Gas and the developer to address that issue. And hopefully that'll get resolved. It only affects the northernmost house of the 3 houses, the 4 houses. 2 properties have contacted the building inspector and are apparently to be cleaned up or addressed. One of them is on Coles, and the bank finally responded and said that they would clean up the property, and the building inspector gave them some time to do so, and hopefully that will get resolved. Another property on Adele has had siding, which has been being applied for a great number of years, and the owner came and spoke to the building inspector, and hopefully that job will be wrapped up in the near future. It's definitely picking up. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 houses. I'm sorry, 6 houses that have been vacant a long period of time, to which no work has been done, and they're chronic issues for the town. So, Maywood Avenue, these are public summonses. I'm going to read the addresses of these houses. They are 219 Parkway, 165 Rosewood, 655 Adele, 459 Davidson, 751 Coles, and 68 Cedar. 751 Coles is one of the ones that the bank is cleaning up.
Actually, 68 feet if someone lives in.
I'm going to read the banks that are taking action on these, as the public should know. These are the people, these are the banks that should be cleaning up these properties, and they're not. City Mortgage, Metropolitan National Bank, Royal Tax Lien Services, and Wells Fargo on the same property. Chase and Deutsche Bank. I think Chase is the service of Deutsche Bank is the underwriter. In IndyMac, National City Mortgage, and Long Beach Mortgage. And I should correct that, it's National City that sold it to HSBC, and they're the ones that are cleaning up 750 holes. So they're actually, all the others is a chronic problem. And I'm going to repeat this list periodically so people can see how long it's going on. Hopefully at some point we'll get some resolution. It's not fair to their neighbors. It's gone on forever and it has to be addressed. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Messer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A brief report. School's out. We're in recess at school, and Board of Education next meeting is tomorrow. On other fronts, I was able to attend the Insurance Safety Committee meeting on June 18th, and I am happy to report a few items. First off, that Maywood's 2014 lost time accident frequency is actually better than average for the JIP, and is almost a full point lower than the average of most of the insurance funds and pools in the area. So that's really something to be said about how safe our driving is from all of our borough municipal employees. They're doing a great job. Representatives from PETA, our risk management, came in to discuss recommending motor vehicle record checks to the borough, and I'm happy to report that this is something that this council has already adopted in our personnel policies up to a month and a half ago. And they also came in to speak about different things like playground safety, which I understand DPW has their own checklist that they run through every year and run through at a frequency that exceeds their recommendations. So I just want to say that Roberta and Jean, I think that the borough has done a good job in maintaining our safety record, and we seem to be ahead of the curve. And I'm just happy to report that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Zabrowski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Saturday, the Golden Age Club is having a chicken and chips fundraiser dinner, and we'll be at the Senior Center. Tickets are $15. Gene, do you know where they see Billy for that? Billy Jelinski or something?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, all right, then. See Billy Jelinski. That.
There might be a telephone number in the...
I think there is a telephone number listed like that.
Yes, okay. On June 19th, our very own Deputy Chief Tuttle was recognized by the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council at their meeting last week. This past April, Maywood received a call for mutual aid to respond to the working fire that was at the hotel on Route 46 East. And upon his arrival, Deputy Chief Tuttle did a 360 size-up of the building and issued an urgent message over the radio that numerous people were trapped in the second floor windows, and directed the Elmwood Park and Garfield firefighters to get that area, and several rescues were made. So he was recognized along with other firefighters that responded to the mutual aid call. He got a nice certificate, and they said some nice things about him. Mr. Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Council President Ballerini.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of items. Tacking on to what you said earlier about the officers that joined the police department. I'll congratulate the chief and the committee for an excellent round of selections again. This is a pretty thorough and exhaustive process. In the private sector, I've been involved in a number of roles in my career where I've had the privilege to hire folks, and to see the chief in his role do such a great job in terms of bringing in qualified candidates and conducting a thorough review. I am a little worried about our relationship with the Hamburg Police Department. We coached 2 officers in the last 12 months. Either we better go look at somewhere else or just designate them a farm club. We did great with Officer Aronson. I'm sure Officer Nichols will follow us as well. For those who didn't know, Officer Patton is coming to us through the Academy as an alternate route candidate, which basically means Officer Patton put himself through the Academy with the hopes of finding the right opportunity. So congratulations to him. We also have 2 appointments for the telecommunicators in the police department tonight. These are also the very frontline positions in our department. These are the folks that deal with the residents of town as well as with the officers and the other towns that support us in mutual aid situations. It's a very high-pressure job. It's a job that demands great skills and experience, and I'm very proud to see the two gentlemen that are joining the town tonight. I know one is from town, has been a communicator before, and it's good to have him back. So congratulations to those gentlemen as well. We do have a report from the municipal court in Paramus. We are tracking a little behind what we did last year in terms of ticket revenue, but still very healthy in terms of the revenue coming in through the month of May. It was $65,000, just a little bit short of $66,000 in revenue from the court. That should about pay our bill for the year for the use of the municipal court in Paramus. So that's a good thing to see the shared services program there still continuing to pay dividends. Do want to make note for the residents that the next two meetings of the Maywood Planning Board have been canceled. So that'll be this Thursday and next Thursday due to a lack of agenda. So we'll see those folks who are interested on the fourth Thursday in July. The new police vehicles are here. They look great. Seeing more and more of these interceptors around the county. Seems to be a very popular form factor for a police vehicle in terms of the hybrid style of passenger and utility. They look great. And that will conclude my report. Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you, Council President. Just briefly, a couple of items. Obviously, July 4th parade will be starting off at 9 a.m. at the Myron Manufacturing parking lot on July 4th. We're looking forward to that. The program, I understand, has been out for printing today. And the front cover of the program is a celebration of the 120 years of the town, various photos throughout the years of the town. It should be a very good parade this year again. I know we have 6 bands, I think, again, which is an increase over the past few years. So it should be a very good event. And fireworks will follow on Sunday, July 6th, at Memorial Park, starting at dusk, but there'll be live entertainment probably starting around 6 or 7 prior to that with the Showmobile stand.
Jumping Dragons.
Jumping Dragons band will be back, and so that should be a good time to come out a little early for the fireworks. Briefly, you've all probably noticed that Public Service has marked out, I think, every possible paint color known to man along Central Avenue. They are doing a major upgrade of the Northeast Grid Reliability Project, which is running a new high voltage line underground. It is starting somewhere beyond Rochelle Park, actually, coming through Rochelle Avenue, up Central Avenue, and making its way to Hackensack, so it's a kind of straight run down Central Avenue. They will be closing parts of Central Avenue over the next few days and few weeks to get that done all the way into Hackensack. There is a workshop, or a public outreach workshop, tomorrow night at Borough Hall at 5 o'clock to 6:30 p.m., third floor. If anybody's interested, feel free to attend. Public Service will be there to answer any questions you may have about the project. It's probably going to be a little bit of an inconvenience for a couple of days. So that's what's going on there. I've been working with the Borough Administrator to get the Memorial Park or Park Benches program going. There have been some new benches that have been put in the park that are going to be permanently put in or touched up a little bit, but that's the style, basically, of the benches that will probably be in the parks, and we will make available those benches for sponsorship.
We already do have 2 sponsors.
We have a couple of people lined up already to
The Stavola family and the fire police have already.
And there's another family in town, and I think Betty Fetcher has also indicated other benches. So we'll certainly put these benches throughout the parks, the multiple parks in town, not just Memorial. So we're going to come up with the price and the cost of the bench, and if people want to sponsor them, they'll have a plaque put on them to remember their family members or whatever memorial they want to put on it. So that program should get underway very soon, as soon as we can establish the price, I guess, to make sure that the expenses are covered. And I think, the Green Team, we had a harvest dropped off by one of the Green Team members, Arlene Formisano, tonight. a few zucchinis and cucumbers.
Already?
And Arlene like has Miracle Grow flowing through her veins. And she just does a wonderful job over there on behalf of the Green Team. If you haven't been to the garden lately, take a walk over there. I'm sure Jean sees it a lot outside the door. I know her dog is keeping away the rabbits and all of that stuff, but the garden is doing very well again this year. So I thank the members of the Green Team who participated in that. And I presume these are for the council members.
Yes.
So,
Except for Jean, she doesn't take anything from the garden.
That you know of.
not during the day.
How do you think your dog gets to get those rabbits out there?
Yeah, 8 pounds of them.
So, congratulations to the Green Team and every organization that's utilizing the garden again this year. It's doing very well. And I think that's all I have. I know that the administrator is also working on getting the lightning warning system together for the parks and the pool.
I have I thought he was going to give me a new proposal. There was some question about whether or not the one that he suggested would cover both coaches, the pool, and Memorial. He claims it does. So he just resent the original proposal from January. Happy to look at it. They do it from Google Maps. The company is in a co-op with the County of Bergen, but they're located in Maryland, so they don't necessarily send someone out. But we can look at that. I just received that again today.
This is actually Lightning Awareness Week. Did you know that?
Ah.
I thought maybe you knew. No, I actually heard that on the news.
He must have known that when he sent me the proposal again today.
Yeah, it's a big week for them, I'm sure.
Yes, since updated the proposal.
Okay, that is my report. We have no resignations on. We have some appointments. We did the first set of appointments earlier tonight. Second set of appointments is Summer Art and Park Program. We have 2 individuals at the rates indicated, and we have 2 part-time telecommunicators for the Maywood Police Department, effective June 24, at the hourly rates on the items.
I will move appointments number 2 and 3.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Mayor, just very briefly for the council. It should be noted that the part-time telecommunicator role is a rotating role, that we have 2 vacancies in those roles. The chief has moved 2 part-time telecommunicators off his rotation due to a lack of availability.
Anything else?
That's it, sir.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Maroney?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Sabred?
Yes.
Ballerini?
Yes.
Okay, for council approval, we have from the Adler Phaser Center permission to hold an off-premises 50/50 raffle on October 2, 2014 at 8 p.m. at 60 West Hunter Avenue, Maywood. Is there a motion to approve?
Lindenau?
Yes.
Maroney?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Sabred?
Yes.
Ballerini?
Yes.
Resolutions by title.
Resolution 11214, resolution appointing the Fund Commissioner to NJSEM. Resolution 11314, resolution authorizing change order number 1 for the East Hunter Avenue and Spring Valley Road project. Resolution 11414, resolution confirming mayoral appointments to community development. Resolution 11514, resolution authorizing use agreement between the Borough of Maywood and the 3D Cougars. Resolution 11614, a resolution ratifying and confirming the purchase of service and maintenance warranty contract for LPR camera system for the Maywood Police Department with funds from the DEA account. Resolution 11714, resolution of the Borough of Maywood and the County of Bergen, New Jersey, prescribing the details and bond form for $4,370,000 general improvement refunding bond Series 2014, dated July 10, 2014, authorizing the acceptance of an offer to purchase said bonds and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
With regard to Resolution 11714, we have Bond Counsel Steve Broder here tonight. You want to just briefly update us on how we did?
Sure. Okay, fine.
Sure.
Well, the Borough had a very good day today in terms of refinancing its bonds. The transaction involved refunding the remaining maturities of bonds that were issued in 2004, and there are 4,650,000 of such bonds that mature from 2015 to 2021, and they're at an average interest rate of about 3.96%. We were able today to refinance those bonds at an average rate of about 1.73%, which saved the borough approximately $327,000 over the remaining 7 years of those bonds, and it averages about $47,000 a year in savings. On a present value basis, it's 6.7%, and the state has a threshold of 3% minimum savings requirement. So we were well over the state threshold. I passed out to the mayor and council just a summary of some of the sort of highlights of the transaction, some of the numbers run. So I'll be glad to run through that very briefly. But I do want to add that when we first started looking at refinancing these bonds about 2 years ago, actually 2.5 years ago, when we first were hitting the minimum 3% threshold, the savings were about $177,000. So by waiting till we got closer to the call date, to the point at which we could pay off the bonds, we were able to increase the savings by about $160,000. So through a little bit of luck in the passage of time and interest rates going down, we were able to really maximize the savings on the transaction. The first page of what I handed out, this shows the savings on the bonds. It compares the cash flow, the payments on the old bonds, the payments we're going to make on the new bonds, and you can see the savings that are going to be achieved on an annual basis. And the total is $327,000 in real dollars. The second page gives some of the statistics on the transaction, some of the items that I just mentioned. You know, the average rate on the old bonds, the rate on the new bonds, and what we saved on a percentage basis. Third page, this shows the sources and uses of funds in the transaction. And basically, we're issuing $4,370,000 of bonds. And the buyers of the bonds are going to pay us a $377,000 premium because the coupon, the stated rates on the bonds, is higher than the market rate. So they're going to pay around $108 for every 100 of bonds. That $377,000 comes into the borough and is used to pay off the old bonds, and it reduces the amount of bonds that we have to issue. So we take that nice premium of $377,000, plus we're taking money that was budgeted. We have to make the July 15th payment on the old bonds, so we have $90,000 that's already been budgeted. We're going to use that to pay off, to make the payment in July. And then basically we're going to take $4,755,000 of funds and lock it up for about a month and pay off the old bonds on August 15th. The costs of issuance are $55,000. That's my fee, the auditor's fee, the rating agency's fee, etc. And then the underwriter gets $26,000. So we have a total of $81,000 in fees. The savings are all net of those fees. Okay, you're saving the $327,000 is net of the fees that we're paying. And then the final page, this shows the pricing of the bonds. And you can see this shows the annual maturities. We're not extending the debt beyond the old debt. The old debt went to 2021. We're just substituting these payments. But you can see the rates on the bonds run from 2% to 4%. But the yields, and that's the effective return to the investors, they run from the first year 28 basis points is the return on the bonds that are going to mature in 2015. It takes 3 years before people are going to earn over 1% on the bonds. Rates are really, really low. And the final maturity is at a yield of 1.99%. And in exchange for having these higher coupons, they're paying a premium, and that's what reduces their yield. And we take that $377,000 and use it to pay off the old bonds and reduce the amount of bonds that we're going to issue. Does anybody have any questions?
Just for clarity, because I just want the public to understand. We have $4,650,000 in bonds now.
Right.
And we're going to issue new bonds and pay off the $4,650,000. But we're only going to owe $4,370,000 because they're going to lower our principal in exchange for getting higher coupons over the next 7 years or so. So they'd rather get higher rates of return in arrears down the road for whatever reason, so their books look better.
Exactly. It's sort of part of its window dressing. In their portfolio, they're showing these higher coupon rates. They're showing 4% bonds and 3% bonds. So they're willing to pay for that. And then also it protects them if interest rates go up. They don't want to sell the bonds at less than par, at less than 100%. So and they're willing to pay up for that. If we were offering the bonds at par where they were paying 100, they would want higher interest rates. So in exchange for the higher coupons, they pay for it.
So in actuality, for 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21, where it says 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, and 4%, we're actually paying less than those percentages.
Yeah, I mean, you can really just look at the yields.
The principal is discounted.
Right. They're effectively earning, 28 basis points on a bond where it's got a stated interest rate of 2% because they're paying extra for it.
Okay, now when you say the net fees, we're saving $327,000, but you also said there was $81,000 in fees associated with the refinance.
Right. The savings amount is net.
So we're really saving $408,000 or so, but $327,000 is the net figure that we're saving after expenses.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Fine.
Great. Anybody else have any questions? Steve, I want to thank you very much. This is obviously incredibly beneficial to the borough, and we appreciate your help on this. It's a good day for the borough financially.
Let me just add, I didn't buy the bond. The underwriting firm that bought the bonds was RBC Capital Markets, and that's the Royal Bank of Canada, and they're one of the stronger financial institutions in the world, and they're very active underwriters in New Jersey. So they've been following this deal for 2.5 years, and they did an excellent job in the market today. Roberta was on the call where they described what the market looked like and what they hoped to achieve in terms of rates, and then they reported back to us a few hours later, and they just really put a lot of effort into the sale of these bonds. And as a matter of fact, they purchased about a quarter of the bonds on their own without having customers for it, stepping up and showing that they stand behind the pricing that they offered. So they did an excellent job.
Thank you very much. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
Move for adoption.
Second. Roll call.
Lindenau?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Nestor?
Yes.
Fedred?
Yes.
Valerie?
Yes.
Okay, no ordinances to be introduced. Any new business? Old business? Miscellaneous business. Trivia of the day. Sunday will mark the 120th anniversary of the vote that came down to break off of Hackensack, basically. Maywood was known as West Hackensack for a while. Came to be known as Maywood, I think, even before we were incorporated, quite frankly. But Maywood, June 29th, which was a Friday, 1894, there was a petition that was acted upon. A petition that was started by Clarence Breckenridge, who was the first mayor of Maywood. 46 votes were cast, 42 were for incorporation, and 4 were against. The borough was formed on June 30th, 1894, 120 years ago on Monday. So, everybody light a candle.
Or have a piece of cake.
Or have a piece of cake. Happy birthday. And that is the trivial lesson of the day, I guess. The borough historian Betty Fetcher would like to start to run a ongoing quiz in the Our Town, perhaps. Perhaps we'll be submitting some questions for the readers of the Our Town to answer in the next couple of weeks. I'll be working with Ms. Fetcher to do that. I guess one of the first ones she wanted to talk about was the Grand Marshals, I guess, the parade. They may know who the first Grand Marshal of the parade was. Colonel? Oh, no, wrong Colonel. Colonel Saunders. Colonel Sanders. Colonel Saunders, 1909, the first parade, first organized 4th of July parade. Colonel Saunders. Colonel Lydecker did it from 1909 or 1910, I guess, up until 1968, I think. Longest one. They're all listed on the plaque, which has been updated this year. Walter Schmidt is our Grand Marshal, the first Grand Marshal, who I believe is 100 years old. First one ever in Maywood's history, I'm sure of that. So there's a little historical fact. Maywood's, when we're talking about the 4th of July, Maywood's 4th of July parade is really one of the oldest parades in the state.
Wow.
I know Ridgewood has a very old parade, and I think Ridgefield Park has a very old parade too, and there's a couple of shore towns, I think, that have some old parades as well, but Maywood's is right up there. It's certainly in the top 10. Make sure everybody comes in. That's all I have.
No.
Okay, there's no closed session?
No, sir.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Come and take your